Hello and welcome to Maths with Jacob. This lesson will focus on challenging inequalities. A special puzzle to warm up the brain cells is on the next slide. The answer will be given at the end. Enjoy. What is the meaning of the following? Good luck with it and see how you go. You will have an opportunity to subscribe to my channel at the end of the video. You can subscribe at any time on my channel page. You are also invited to share this video with your friends. Thank you in anticipation. Challenging inequalities. Earlier videos have outlined how to solve straightforward linear inequalities and inequalities involving quadratic equations. We will now look at a more challenging type of inequality where the denominator contains a variable, not just a constant. So here's example 1, and there's the variable. Now we multiply both sides by m minus 1 all squared. Now the following notes will explain why we do this. There are some important things to note here. Number 1, we need to have the variable in the numerator, and that's why we do this. Number 2, we are not allowed to just multiply both sides by m minus 1 because this value may be negative. If it is negative, we must reverse the inequality sign in order to make sure that we are multiplying both sides by a positive number. We just multiply by m minus 1 all squared, and that ensures that we're multiplying by a positive number and this inequality stays in the same direction. So there's m minus 1 all squared, and there, so we've done the same to both sides. After we do our cancelling, we end up with this line. Some simplification gets us to this line. So if 0 is greater than these terms, then these terms are less than 0. And here is the simple factoring. So we're left with this inequality here. Now, this quadratic expression here, I'm looking at this one, not the original one, I'm just looking at that. When m equals 1 and m equals 2, the value of that is 0. So that's very important. So we put a circle around those. Now, to solve the inequality, we are going to look at 3 separate areas. And we're going to test some numbers in those areas to see which of the areas work. So let's test 0. So we're testing 0 first. So let's put 0 in here. 1 over 0 minus 1, that gives us 1 over minus 1, which is minus 1. Minus 1 is greater than 1, that is false, so this area does not work. That area is not part of the answer. Let's test 3 here. So we put 3 in there. 1 over 3 minus 1 gives us 1 over 2, which is a half. A half is greater than 1, which is false. That area does not work. If we test 1.5, if we put 1.5 in there, 1 over 1.5 minus 1 is 1 over 0.5, which is 2. 2 is greater than 1, and that is true. So there are the answers here, that range there. Now, we have a circle around 1, of course, because m can't be 1. Of course, you can't have 0 as a denominator. And we also have a circle around 2 because there are no equal signs. See here, there's no equal sign there or there. So that's why we have a circle around 2. Example 2, we multiply both sides by w squared, which we've done there and there. After we do our cancelling, we get to this line. Remove the grouping symbols to get to that line. Simplification to get to this line, and factorization to get to this line. Now the value of this quadratic expression is 0. That's this one here. I'm only looking at that one. When w equals 0 or w equals 4. Now, we have 3 regions now. That one, and that one. Let's see which regions work. We do the same thing. We test minus 1 into here. We test 2, so w equals 2 into there, and we test w equals 5 there. So we do that on 3 separate occasions like we did in example 1. We will see that this region does not work, that region does not work, but this region does. Now we have a circle around 0 because you can't have 0 in the denominator. We also have a circle around 4 because there's no equal sign. Okay, there are no equal signs here, so that's why we have a circle around 4. So there are the answers in there, in that region. Third example, multiply both sides by 4 minus m all squared. Notice here it's less than or equal to. That's important. So here's the 4 minus m all squared, and there. After we do our cancelling and we expand that section, we get to this line. Get rid of the grouping symbols to get to that line. Some simplification to get to this line. If 0 is less than or equal to these terms, then these terms are greater than or equal to 0. That's just common sense. Factorisation gets us to this line here. Now the value of this quadratic expression is 0 when m is 1 or 4. That's why I've got some circles here. Now we'll see in a moment why that's filled in and why that's empty. Let's test the regions first. If we test for m equals 0, then test for m equals 3, then test for m equals 5, we will see that this region does not work. So the answers are not here, but testing 0 works, testing 5 works. Now, why do we have a circle around 4, even though we have less than or equal to? Well, that's very easy. If you look at the denominator here, m cannot be 4, because 4 minus 4 is 0, and we can't have 0 as a denominator. So that's why we have this circled. 4 is not included. And 1 is definitely included, because it doesn't matter if we put 1 in here. 4 minus 1 gives us 3. 3 over 3 is 1. 1 is less than or equal to 1, so you can see how the 1 works. So that's how we solve those type of inequalities. Here's a quick quiz to help you. Please check through the video at any time. What is the answer to the puzzle? For instance. How cute is that? Just look at it carefully and you'll understand that. Here are the answers to the quick quiz, and the video is at your disposal. If you found this video useful, please subscribe on the next slide. You will receive a notification when the next video is available. Please share with your friends. Hope to see you next lesson.